Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. All right, well, interesting night overnight in Bitcoin, at least. Just gonna pull up our dashboard here. So here you can see in Bitcoin we kind of came up. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I like to do that one last when people are on. Okay, so there's the overnight action. Let's grab the video here. Oh, come on. I really wish that YouTube made it easier to get the actual boom. Man, that keyboard is loud, guys. No, if you oh, hi Rackley. He's in right away. So if you see here, like if I want to share it, it gives me like the live streaming link. That's not what I want. I want this link. That's the link I want. They make it so hard to get to it. Anyways, pull up Twitch too. No, not Twitter. Okay, pretty light so far in terms of volume. Anyways, yesterday was a pretty rangy day, although we did have that late move up off of the auction, and then it came back. So, I think we're at reasonable levels. Market is balanced. Let's see what the jobs reports, the unemployment claims tells us. Okay, here's your Twitch link, guys. Not just on well, I mean, we have kind of pushed down here, but see where we're at, like in the middle of this range that we've been in basically all week. I think that the market has found balance, and it's time to push it out. Okay, so we all cool? Everybody's okay. We got some people on Twitch. There we go. Oh, I've put on notifications for your channel. Oh, that's great. That's a great idea. Okay, so Bitcoin is interesting because here, you know what? If I pull this other chart over here, this one's even clearer. So like when we look at it on a 5-minute bars, and we're looking up here, where was it? No, but it was back here. So there's all of these places where it's like the bulls barely even make a teeny tiny little gain, and they're immediately smacked down. See here? Boom, boom. And there was even some spots, I'm trying to find it. Where was the one that I was looking at? Okay, so this is 10 o'clock. This is my time. It was like later in the day. It had to have been around 3, so around 15. Oh yeah. So look at all of these selling tells. See on those? So it's like they're fighting it, but the sellers are fighting it, but they lost. I mean, we did get above that 11.5 level that we were looking at and thinking was going to be critical. But then overnight we went into sell mode again. And the only piece of news, hey Dan, the only piece of news that I really saw was Theresa May saying, oh, well, we might need to look at Bitcoin and what things we might need to do to enforce things. Which shouldn't push us down. So, my overall reading, oh, you know what? We need to pull up that. What is that freaking... Why do I always have a hard time? Okay, it's Datamish. Datamish. I always have a hard time remembering what it's called. Okay, so here you can see there's still going, shorts are still trying. We'll go out like way far so we can see yesterday. Okay. So the 23rd is a little bit too far out. The 23rd was Tuesday. Okay, but here you can see, okay, starting yesterday, all of the shorts got washed out. But, you know, around here, around 4 o'clock, here they are, shorts trying to keep things down. And they lost. And then I guess they didn't really pile it back on, even though we're down. So that down movement can't be due to Bitfinex, at least. It must have been some movement in one of the Asian markets. I don't know. Anyways, it's just kind of odd action. It seems to me like the bulls are winning, and they should, because at this point, people buying the currency just to use it should be enough to sustain price at these levels. And, you know, there are some things coming. I'm sure that some people will use their tax returns to buy Bitcoin. I don't know what, oh, that's not what I wanted. I already have that open. I wanted this. There we go. So let's see what they tell us today. So today we get 54. So yeah, in my observation is that at 50, the transactions in Bitcoin, people buying the currency just so that they can use it, is enough to sustain price. Anybody that's trying to go short down here is dumb. Well, they're not dumb, but we know something that they don't know. Let's put it that way. Yeah. ZB. I do have garlic here. Looks like this is up to date. I added a node here for anybody else that's doing garlic. If you do this Electrum garlic soup node, it's a lot more reliable than the default ones that they give us. so there's that, or the ones that came in the Electrum wallet, because this was the last one that I got. But today we only got 2420. When did I start mining? Around 4? Yeah, right here. Oops. We went too far. Right. No. 25, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right here. Okay. Oh. Yes. Why am I having a hard time finding the I don't know. But you notice how sometimes I'm getting like 0.2 now. And sometimes 0.1. It seems like I should have 40. And I only got 5 last night. So maybe the difficulty on this is going up. Which sucks because I want like 10,000 garlic. And I don't think I'm going to get that by mining. Press the R next to zoom out. I see a lot of shorts there. I don't know. I do see, yeah, I see that. They took it off already. You're talking about that right there. If we zoom in. I don't know why it's not giving us the, I push shift time forward and it doesn't do it. Shift time forward. They must have changed it.
Tucker said minute to go. If anybody has a nervous pee, they need to let go.
Hey, Marius. I haven't seen your name before. You're new. How did you find us? And welcome. Yeah, I do see some. I mean, there's plenty of evidence here, I think, of people trying to short this. So, okay, so here we get news. Here's the poll. And we are looking for 239. Okay. I should have turned on the financial juice. That's okay. Okay, 233. So a little bit better than thought.
Alligator said although everybody's shorting R1 in Bund, could be dangerous, possible breakout 161 target, depends on comments, probably dovish with emphasis on currency volatility.
Yeah. I think that any central bank is going to continue to try and say dovish things. Because they don't want the bonds to just start going down super fast. They're just going to do that on their own with the improving market conditions. Marius M3, what do you think about this 11K Bitcoin struggle? Yeah, so
Trade
that's
the
what
trader said I looking for long.
That's what we were talking about just before you came in. So it really looked like yesterday that there was some sellers in the market really fighting it, but they lost. And my indicator at the moment is low enough that simply people using the currency should be enough to hold price here. So I think that they're going to lose. And the fact that we got over 11.5 yesterday was a really good indication. I don't know why they sold it afterwards. It looks to me, though, that the impetus for that sell did not come from Bitfinex. It came from one of the Asian markets. So I'm not 100% sure why they're fighting it, but I think that they're going to lose eventually. We're going to, and the more that they fight it, really, the more that they fight it, the bigger the rise is going to be, because they're going to have to cover it. These guys are going to lose, and its price is going to push against them hard. Because if, let's just say that the shorts are right. And I personally think that the shorts are right in general, but not right now. So what do I mean by right in general? Right in general is that Bitcoin was in a bubble and the bubble popped. And so the whole thing needs to completely deflate. But in order for it to completely deflate,
The traders said Stripe ending Bitcoin support.
Stripe ending Bitcoin support. In order for the bubble to completely deflate, interest has to decline because people using the currency props it up, right? People using the currency means that they have to go and buy Bitcoins so that they can, go and buy other stuff with it. That's buying support. That pushes price up. Interest has to decrease. So in order for the bubble to completely deflate, there has to be a short covering rally. And that's what I think is about to happen, is that there's going to be a short covering rally. And then it just depends on where the interest is at that point. If the interest remains high, which at the moment it seems like it is, then we're going to make a new high. And if the interest doesn't remain high, then we're going to come short of that new high. And when we sell that time, it's going to go all the way down. Although it'll be a little bit slower. It would have to be a little bit slower. Okay, Dan says Marius M3 is a buddy of mine. Don't you find it strange that in the last days Bitcoin has been staying between 10 and 11K? I don't find it odd, simply because volume is not all that amazing right now. So, excuse me. Draghi, domestic price pressures remain muted overall and have yet to show convincing signs of a sustained upward trend. Very dovish. We don't want to raise rates still because we still don't see inflation. Recent volatility in the exchange rate represents a source of uncertainty which requires monitoring with regard to its possible implications for the medium-term outlook of price stability. The economy has accelerated more than expected. Draghi reinstates warning euro volatility creates uncertainty. Okay, well, we're going to let him stop talking before I take a trade because it has gone back and forth there quite a bit. Draghi says ample degree of stimulus needed to boost inflation. Oh man, he's like crazy dovish right now. Yeah? I thought one couldn't short something like Bitcoin, not futures, IHT. So I mean, you can. Clearly you can, because here on Datamish with margin shorts, they exist. I think it's just really hard and it's not a very significant portion of the volume out there. And surely if you wanted to make a large short, there's no way you'd be able to do it through here. But if you wanted to make a large short, you could do it on the futures. On the CME futures, for sure. Oh yeah, BitMEX, you can do it. Robinhood. Okay, so you were saying there's a coin that is going to trade over-the-counter options. And it is FOTA, is that the name of the coin? Because that's what I want. Because when we get back up to the top, if my indicator says that we're oversold, or if we hit to that 150 level, I want options. Heck yes, I want to buy puts. I want to buy like $1,000 in puts. That's Because I feel like when we were up at the top the last time, like I was like, oh, I want to short it, I want to short it, like the indicator says you should, but obviously that would be like reckless, but it wouldn't be reckless with options. And I kind of feel like that if I've made any mistakes in cryptocurrencies, it's been not trusting my indicator enough. Like the indicator said to do something, and I said, okay, well, we'll buy a little bit, or we'll take a little bit off. And really, what I should have done is I should have bought everything that I could, and I should have sold everything that I could. Oh man, this is really volatile movement here off of Draghi. Do you think after the tax returns and all government close problem is solved, then everything is normal, Bitcoin will have a big bounce, meaning some money will flow in BTC? Yeah, so I do think that some people are going to use their tax returns to buy Bitcoin. I mean, I think that Bitcoin has done well in part because people right now have a lot of extra money. I mean, just think about it. In 2008, did you have the money to invest in Bitcoin? Most of us, I know I did not in 2008, right? Like it's a completely different economy now, and people do have expendable income to spend on highly speculative investments, and if they already have it, then that means that when they get their tax return, there's a higher probability of them taking some of that money and putting it into Bitcoin for sure. Man, okay, now what did he say? Reiterates warning, brings volatility. Well, I'm glad I didn't go long there. What the heck did he say? And did the bun come down there? Not really. This is interesting. I wonder if that sharp move down we just had in the note was related to the euro comments, and perhaps people saying, well, I don't want to hold US bonds if the euro is going to be so dovish. And it seems like, based on who's going to be running the Fed now and how well the US economy is doing, that they're going to start being more hawkish. Anyways, sorry, so I kind of stopped in the middle of answering the question. So so yes, I do think that people will use their tax returns to buy Bitcoin, but I'm not so sure that that is like as large of a driving factor as people think it is. The thing that's going to drive Bitcoin higher is the belief that Bitcoin has bottomed. And once we get above a certain price, so 11,500 was kind of a key price, but didn't quite do it. And I don't believe that technical indicators work per se, but if you look at the charts, the Ishimoku cloud, I'll pop it in here on a 6-hour chart. Yeah. This Ishimoku cloud, I think, does a pretty good job of showing us where that is. So somewhere around 1300, if we can get through 1300, I think that you're going to see people come in and take us back up. And I mean, that's what I'm betting on, because I bought over here somewhere, right? I bought like in this candle. So I made a little bit of profit, but I'm still kind of like sweating it. Okay, so I'm seeing a little bit of back and forth here at 7. .025 is the low. Like low of the month or whatever. The important thing right now is for Bitcoin to not trade under the cloud. Yeah, so the thing is I don't know squat about the Ishimoku cloud and what it means and how you're supposed to trade it. I just know people have been mentioning it, and when I look at that cloud, I do see that. I do see that price level as like if you get above the cloud, you know, that's about the same place that I would say we're through resistance and people should become more interested. But I can't give you like an Ishimoku setup or anything like that, or like, because I don't know the historical probability of it. I haven't tested it. I would have to like take an Ishimoku cloud indicator into into NinjaTrader and code up a couple of strategies and see, you know, what kind of historical probability it is before I start telling you guys, oh, this is a trade setup. And I think that I wouldn't say that it will make it take off, but it is increased buying support from tax returns for sure. Yes. Yeah. And I think that's why you often see in February and March price tends to recover. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, this might take a while. We'll have to see, but this could take a while. Wow. Okay, so now I'm thinking about taking a short trade at this point because this is not stopping. Especially if we fall below that 5/2. Draghi says stock is only relevant metric to assess a QE program. Well, ECB does not favor any country in its QA program. Stock, not flows, is the only relevant metric to assess QE. So he's obviously still talking. I mean, this could be for the next 30 minutes, right? Yeah, Euro US spread would be a good trade. Yeah, April was our latest target. No, I think for a new all-time high, you would need some big money to come in for sure. I mean, I believe that big money coming in was part of what drove us here in the first place. You know, like there was that $1 million bet that those twins made. And that was probably something that really gave them the initial boost. And then, you know, when we found out that the futures were coming, I think that their hedge funds started buying it probably.
Alligator said S.16 so fast.
Well, they didn't get below that 55 or 5/2.
Alligator said holds.
Oh, so I need to check on our Sia coin here too. Didn't they say they were going to make an announcement today? Dilemma, full story. Na. Okay. Fork, no fork announcement to be announced on Thursday, 125. Did they say at what time? Not yet. They don't know what time. I hope that they say no soft
Alligator
fork.
said stop 0.20s.21.
I think that just letting Bitmain do its thing and holding the course for now would be better for short and medium term Sia coin price.
Alligator said f.16.
Well, I definitely don't want to go long
Alligator
here.
said too volatile now.
Yeah. Hitting a bit of a wall there at 6/2, aren't we? And how far back did we come in the ZV? Or 6. New version of nice hash out. China will most likely resume Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading after some new regulations. Yay! That's good. Oh, that must be why we're coming up right here. Look at that. Bye, bye, bye. I read a tweet today that Sia
Alligator
didn't
said
fork
big
yet.
fight, I bet on bears, trying to find a spot.
Oh yeah, Dan, for sure they haven't forked yet. So I guess my understanding is that they're going to make an official statement about how they feel about it today. You can also margin trade at Whale Club, but as the name suggests, you need a lot of money. How much is a lot? Oh, you know, another thing that I need to check is the garlic market.
Alligator said S.02.
Wow, look at the E-mini go. That just happened in just the
Trade
last
the traders
few...
said bund.
Okay, so when we had that push down, E-mini went up. Was there something that Draghi said or something that happened that I missed?
Alligator said Rev L.04.
Okay, well, I would be allowed to take a short now at 5/2. Um, there is some pretty big targets below us. All of that resistance, we're still sitting at it. I think I can take it. Okay. Still not offering up a ton at 5/2. Maybe we need to sit here at the bottom a little bit first and have a few gutsy guys hit 5 first before we do that.
Alligator said need to break 0.10, hard to find buyers.
Although that's cool. You can margin trade with a 0.01 Bitcoin deposit.
Alligator said F.10.
He's taken a number of trades here. Okay, well, this is pulled significantly. It was 4,000 at one point. That we are seeing overall, it looks like we're flattening. Okay, that's a little bit more like it. Yep.
Alligator said S.08 big fight.
Too many people buying that 5 there. Yeah, of course it's going to go through it.
Alligator said F.01.
That 040 is really firmed up. Started waiting for a break from ZB.
Alligator said everybody's looking 160, no volunteer? LOL.
Yeah.
Alligator said why?
We need to push through here and get everybody to go, whoops, I took profit too soon. There we go. Yeah, look at that.
Alligator said S.98.
Really good offer there when it went through.
Block sell.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Alligator said F.94. Alligator said need to close as I short too low. Alligator said so we have a volunteer thanks smiling face with open mouth.
Oh, look at that. They're hitting through it. I guess not. Well, I suppose it might be prudent to take it off here at 04. Yep.
Alligator said why?
This seems a little fishy to me, but we should probably take a step back. Look at that. Maybe you should have kept it. Yep. Loop. Hmm. It's also, I mean, not that this is uncommon or anything, but to see, that big 3K order come through and it not clear the price that it was taking. And we've now seen that happen a couple of times in the past 2 or 3 days. Pull back up our Bitcoin chart. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that.
Alligator said playing pullback S.98 but could be over.
See, they are already trying to push it back down. I mean, if China like completely opens up the cryptocurrency trading again, I mean, come on, guys, it's huge. Isn't that, am I wrong? Isn't that huge? Or has China clamping down on the cryptocurrency trading not really, you know, dampened demand there that much? Because the Chinese exchanges did kind of just they still stuck around, right? They just like reopened under different schemes. Of course, it would be huge. Okay. Do you have the link? Sure. It was. I will post it in the YouTube chat.
Alligator said F.96.
When I look at the comments, that's a lot of people saying it's a very doubtful rumor. Hmm. Why Bitcoin's Lightning Network will make most altcoin competitors irrelevant.
Alligator said could break above S2, 50/50ths.
Hmm.
Tucker said S045, looking for 030 and then 020. Tucker said large orders lifting it have me concerned, but trend is down and stops are underneath. Alligator said back S.94.
Okay. Oh, that sucks. Maybe they'll come back to us. No. Phooey. Well, now I don't want it. Now they touched
Alligator
it.
said terra incognita in Bund. Tucker said scaled 1. Tucker said come on 020. Trade the traders said crazy looking for long at 159.71 Bund. Tucker said all we need is for some fat cat to sneeze and hit the red staples button lol.
No, I...
Tucker said moved bid up to 0.25 with the 3K that just absorbed. Alligator said could you break 0.25 please?
I shouldn't have taken it off. I mean, it was prudent to take it off at 04, and it's okay to have taken it off at 04, but clearly this is a trend day, and it was destined to go and test 0.25. I think I could possibly get filled at 0.45.
Alligator said F.79. Tucker said moving bid back down to 0.20. I have faith.
I have faith. Oh, come on. Take profits, you greedy bastards. Oh my. You see that machine gun with the tens?
Tucker said damn. Lat 0.40.
Where were you in from? Oh, 045?
Tucker said I was short 45, wasn't going to let it come back to break even.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would have, if I had kept my short that I had had from, like, what was it, 6 or whatever, I probably would have put my limit order at 025. I don't know if you would have gotten filled at 025, but, you know, with a low that significant, you know that somebody's going to come in and buy it there. So you can take it off at 025 and then do what I'm doing right now, hope that it comes back a couple of ticks and you get another chance to take it as they push it. And then when it tests it again, we'll see if they actually have the momentum to push through or not. I think they will, though.
Tucker said nearly 3,500 went through at 25. I bet you would have easily gotten the fill.
Oh, I guess you're right. So yeah, I probably would have gotten filled if I had put it there. I didn't even look at the DOM to see how many. I'm so dumb. Notice that the shorts aren't letting off the gas at all. Cumulative delta is not going back up.
Alligator said S.82.
Well, darn.
Tucker said everybody's trying to scale into new yearly lows.
Yeah. Well, I think when you get into a situation like this, nobody really knows how far it's going to go. You're going to have profit taking and fear of missing out all over the place. That's why it starts to get so messy.
Block sell.
That O2 is not going to, yeah. I was like...
Tucker said exactly. A few weak but big hands start taking whatever they can get.
Like, they touched that like 3 times. There's no way that's going to hold. So I was just sitting here like, maybe I should just click in, because there's no way my O4 is getting filled. And even at this 10 isn't going to hold either. But I don't know where it's going to... Okay, so there was a big
Alligator
order
said
at 10.
F.81.
There was a big order at 10 that they took off. That's odd, interesting. In ZB and in ZF, we just touched where the size was. So yeah, I should have known better. I should have kept it on until the 115.
Alligator said wow, pullback IMO.
We are starting to see Sellers push back significantly more here. That 01 could possibly hold.
Tucker said 18-tick average daily range stat is 0.10. I would expect it to break given the strength of the sell.
Well, there's 6K sitting
Tucker
at
said
04.
also, that's a mode range stat for the statisticians out there. No sense in using averages in trading.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I'm still not 100% sure what the exact thing that Draghi said that is causing this now. Does CNBC have anything? Oh. Dow is set to open up triple digits after blowout Caterpillar earnings. Euro surges as traders are left unconvinced by Mario Draghi's stance on stimulus. Okay, so what they're saying is, oh, Draghi come out, he says there's going to be stimulus, he's all like super dovish, but then he says, oh, well, you know, the stimulus is for stocks. And what's happening with stocks? Well, they're going up. So they're basically saying, well, we don't believe you because the economy is doing so well. You're not going to be able to do what you claim. I think is what's going on here. Which makes sense because when we were going up, I'm like, okay, this is okay. That just means that I'll be able to short it more next week. And then we started diving. Okay. Buyers have made a couple of significant ticks there.
Tucker said looming 000s. I'm done for day though, off to work.
Okay, well, we are now well past a what could be considered a pullback in ZB, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tick pullback. And back to VWAP. What do you think about Ethereum in terms of price in the late spring? Do you think it will be always linked to Bitcoin fluctuation? I don't think it always will, but for the near future, it definitely will. I think that Ethereum is going to need to build out its trading network significantly more in order for it to disconnect from Bitcoin price. Because, you know, like, it's good that you can buy Ethereum on Coinbase for dollars, but there's not really a ton of Ethereum. Well, maybe that's not true. I don't know. I think that at least for this year, they're still going to be heavily correlated. I think that in order for there to be a flippening or like decoupling, there has to be like another crash. At that point,
Alligator said L.01.
At that point, you know, people can start saying, oh, well, we can't trust Bitcoin because it keeps doing this to us. So let's go for Ethereum instead. And then Ethereum might become its own beast. But I think you need to crash first. Mobius Network, a 39 million ICO, accepts only XLM for its tokens. Okay, well, it did get back to 04, which is kind of what I was thinking. But I don't know. So now ZB is trading above the VWAP, and they're going to touch 045. Well, they did touch 045. Certainly no fill at 045 though. Are they trying to bait people into going long here? They're coming back because the E-mini took a dive. Is what it looks like.
Alligator said, come on, close your shorts.
Look at this. I'll pull it over here for the stream. Look at the E-mini. So we had this big move up, and that's what prompted equities, or sorry, we had a big move up in equities, and that's what prompted the treasuries to move down so strongly. The E-mini started coming off, and so treasuries started going back up. But look at cumulative delta. We are significantly negative from where we opened at. So we had this huge push up, and it's already been faded. That's not good. So I think that this whole thing could retrace.
Alligator said scratch.
Now I'm not going to buy, I will not buy below that VWAP, but I think that there's a good chance that we could go back up to like 7. Complete retracement would take us all the way up to 10. But 50% would be 5.
Alligator said S.98.
Now, of course, the E-mini could always turn around here. do you think Lightning Network will do more damage, i.e. crash Bitcoin, rather than improve it? I don't believe that. But I don't think that I am knowledgeable enough on the technology to say whether Lightning Network will work or is a good thing.
Alligator said F.89.
I'm talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Bitcoin and Lightning Network. So Lightning Network is in alpha stage, and people have been adding Lightning nodes, and it's working, and people are making transactions with it. The opponents of Lightning Network claim that there are significant technical problems with Lightning Network that once you try and scale it, cause problems. Now, I can't determine if that's true or not. I just can't. So my opinion is what matters the most is what's happening right now. What's happening right now is people are making Lightning transactions with it, and that's good. So overall, that's good for Bitcoin. Now, if we get there and all of a sudden Lightning Network starts being a problem, then
Alligator
at that point
said
it would.
absorption. IMO bears are going to try again. Could fail though.
And at that point, then you could go short. But I think it's better to try and be. I mean, I'm more of a trader, anyways. Like the way that I'm playing Bitcoin is swings. My indicator is sensitive enough that I can play, swings of several weeks to several months. And I'm not necessarily playing the in 10 years game. So in 10 years, will Lightning Network take over and kill all altcoins? I don't know. I can't say. Don't have an edge there. I don't know. That E-mini looks like it wants to take another dive. In 10 years, we will be serving our AI overlords. If everyone would start using SegWit, there is not going to be scaling issues with Lightning Network. So let's see. I will try and find, because it kind of seems to me like that should be correct, but I don't understand the counters to it. So I'll read you something. Let me find it here really quick. So here's what the people say against it, but you notice that there's not like a thorough technical proof that what this guy is saying is true. Lightning Network has no known solution to its routing problem. Lightning routing has been promised as being private, scalable, and decentralized. So far, it's not private, not scalable, and not particularly decentralized, as we explained would be the case 2 years ago when the white paper was released. Solving this problem requires breakthrough type advances. So it looks neat unless you actually need privacy, scale, and decentralization. And then he says, Lightning is like nuclear fusion. Seems as if it should solve all our problems, but in reality, it is an extremely thorny problem once you want to do it at scale. So there's clearly something that he's referring to here, but he doesn't really lay it out. And so I can't really judge whether or not the thing that he's talking about is really a problem or not. So it sufficeth me to say that there are many people out there that still believe that even though the Lightning Network Alpha is going well, that once they once it receives widespread adoption, that it's going to be a problem. And I can't explain why they think that, or why they may be right or wrong. Only that these people exist. Well, not just that they exist, but there's a pretty significant portion of the community that believes this.
Alligator said S.89.
Okay, so ZB did...
Alligator said scratch.
Did kind of start to make a move like it was going to start trading above the VWAP and completely retrace, but they kicked it back down. Yeah, he uses an analogy, but doesn't explain how that would apply. Well, if you guys ever watch Scott Adams? I mean, a lot of people don't necessarily watch him so much because he's considered more of a Trump apologist. But really what his main thing is he's trying to use psychology to and the psychology that he knows from hypnotism to explain why certain arguments are convincing or not. And one of the things that he says is that analogies are never convincing because you always do exactly that. You will always say, well, how does that apply to this situation? Or, well, but here is where your analogy breaks down, and like your brain immediately goes there. So like analogies are good for understanding and helping somebody understand something, but they're very, very poor for convincing somebody over to your side. And so him using an analogy is not really a very good method there. And, you know, as we pointed out, he makes a bunch of assertions that are that he doesn't prove. You know? He says that there's a routing problem. What is the routing problem? I mean, I know we can look it up, but you would think that if you were going to make this point and you're trying to convince people, that you would want to give something that is convincing so that people are convinced that there really is a routing problem instead of just assuming it. Oh, that is not... Okay. So here's another thing I'm seeing. So this thread says, if you still doubt that small blockers are nuts, this is post hoc rationalization fallacy. So then I click on the link. Here's Brian Kelly from CNBC, who is apparently turning into CNBC's Bitcoin expert. Okay. He was the guy that they had a video of him yesterday explaining what hodl and get wrecked means. Okay. Might sound weird. Oh, okay. So the first, this is like a whole thread. He says, this is actually true. 2014 was the golden age of Bitcoin merchant adoption. It was also the worst year in Bitcoin's history price-wise. And Brian Kelly says, might sound weird, but this is actually quite bullish for the price of Bitcoin. Merchants were a natural seller. This removes the seller from the market. So they're saying, yes, it's good to not have merchants in the market because they sell, and that changes the buy sell side equation. But maybe in the short term, but in the long term, it's bad, because in the long term, what will hold up Bitcoin price is people using the currency. And if there are no merchants, nobody's going to use it. That's kind of insane thinking, in my opinion. Bitcoin needs to solve the scaling problem so that merchants can come back, and then more people will start using the currency, and then the price will rise because there's more demand. I guess I get what he's saying. Yeah, he says get wrecked in the video. You can go look it up. It's curious, but I guess with that whole discussion, though, you have to keep in mind that my theory and my indicator is based almost purely on the theory that Bitcoin has value because you can make transactions with it. The more transactions there are, the more money you can move with that transaction, the faster, more secure, and more private those transactions are, the more value it has. That's the theory. That's it. And the indicator, it's basically just telling us, based on the transaction volume going through, whether the price that is being offered right now is fair. You know, when we're at the 50,
Alligator said so they fail L.96.
Yeah. So when we're at the 50 level, people that want to use Bitcoin to make transactions have every incentive to buy Bitcoin there, because at that point, the transactions that just happen in Bitcoin just naturally from the ecosystem as it exists today can sustain price all on its own. Everything else on top of that is extrinsic. Once you get above 100, you get to a point where mining becomes so profitable that miners have a huge incentive to mine a ton and sell those coins on the market. So at 100, price can't be sustained anymore. It's going to naturally come down because the natural ecosystem kind of supports it. Interesting that they absorbed 7K there at 45 on the buy side. There's still a significant buyer in here. Anyways, above that, I say, although I can't prove it, but the only explanation I can come up for as for why price could ever get over that 100 mark is through manipulation of some sort. So that could mean that Tether is a scam, or it could just mean that whales really have such a huge influence on price that they can just really move it far beyond what the natural ecosystem should allow. I don't know, but that's how I look at it. Bitcoin is the only token that has tradable pairs with every other token. Take that away and Bitcoin becomes less valuable. Yeah, absolutely. Significantly less valuable. And that's also why, conversely, other coins that are competing with Bitcoin, like specifically Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, the most useful thing that they could probably do for their currencies right now is to get more tradable pairs for their currency out there. So KU Coin trading Bitcoin Cash pairs, that's super bullish for Bitcoin Cash. But they need more than that. they either need other exchanges to jump on board, or they need KU coin to become one of the premier exchanges, because it's still relatively small. Well, I think I want to take this short here. When futures launched, there was a fear of manipulation of Bitcoin price. Do you guys think this is happening? Well, there has certainly been some odd moves in futures. For instance, before the big dip, we saw Bitcoin futures traders market orders going short, and it was quite odd. And of course, then we had a huge drawdown. However, you cannot manipulate the price of Bitcoin right now through the futures alone. So any kind of price manipulation that you're seeing right now, I think could and probably would have happened with or without the futures going live. But because the futures went live, people were buying like crazy, and it really pushed us up to unreasonable levels. And so I think that the futures, it kind of caused it, but it didn't cause it. Like, it didn't cause it like something about futures changed the dynamic of the market and made it easier to sell. I think that it was more the Bitcoin futures caused Bitcoin to overextend itself, so that then when we started selling, we sold a lot harder than we normally would. What do you think after the mining of Bitcoin is over in terms of price and fees? So my understanding about that is that mining never ends, right? You just stop getting block rewards, right? How does that work? Because you still have to have mining to confirm the transactions and stuff, and I think that they still get the fees, right? But obviously mining becomes much less profitable because you're only getting the fees. I think this is maybe one of the motivations for the Lightning Network is some of those developers believed that there needs to be some sort of a fee market in order to provide enough incentive for the miners to continue mining after all of the blocks are mined. Was that correct? You guys tell me, because that's something that I remember reading a long time ago, and it's a little fuzzy in my head. I mean, the bigger question is that the number of actual Bitcoin gets limited at that point. And so then at that point, supply comes down significantly, and price should rise for sure. But there's also a possibility that that dynamic kind of causes problems, and people start making other cryptocurrencies to get around it. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, is that supply in Bitcoin is kind of artificially capped, right? There's nothing stopping somebody from going into the code and changing that. There's nothing stopping anybody from going into the code and making a Bitcoin where coins are, much more common. And they have, and they do all the time, right? So the idea that it's rare is kind of, it's not really a thing. Remember what Vitalik Buterin said when the total market cap was at 800 billions, he was wondering if we really earned that money. But the supply and demand, if Bitcoin is like done mining, the price is also going up. Probably. Yes. And that's also why I have invested in some coins that have relatively low supply. Oh, and are already like largely mined out. So like one that I've traded is Growestel. I don't know how you say it. A lot of people have talked about that they need a branding because the name is ugly, and I think that may be appropriate. But and I think I've mined 5 coins, so it's not a ton. But and at some point I would like to just buy some more because it's still super cheap. But there's like 12,000 coins, and they've already mined like 70% of them or something like that. So like the price on that coin is going to rise significantly in the future. Garlic coin, another good one. It has a max supply of 12 million. Or I can't remember if it's 12, 14, 16. It's something like that. So it's about what Bitcoin is. So it's a meme coin like Dogecoin, but without the crazy ridiculous supply. So right now, at least in the garlic market, when I just looked there, garlic coins are actually going for 250, which is ridiculous at these particular prices, because they're basically saying that I can mine for an hour and get 250, and that's more than a lot. You know, that's like 4 times as much as any other coin that you could get from mining. So if that price was actually true and there was an exchange and they were trading at that price, then garlic coin is the most profitable coin right now. But I digress. I want to take it off it too, because of that 5. But when you calculate it out and you say, okay, what if garlic coin had the same market cap as Dogecoin? How much would it be worth? About $75. So I've been calculating it all out. I'm like, okay, I need to get 10,000 garlic coins. How do I get that many garlic coins?
Block sell.
Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to let them do their thing and see if they make a new low. The fact that somebody is selling it there so hard, they could do it. Yeah, it didn't show me my first one. Okay. Today's been a good day. I think I may just stop there. If I do, I could take 2 more ticks and get 8, and that would be great. But how many mega hashes per second does your rig have? Well, so it's a 1060, and obviously it depends on the algorithm, but I think that in Garlicoin it's something like 250. Oh, Growestel. I think that it's named after the algorithm, and I think that the algorithm is basically grow as, and STL is like standard library. But there's nothing too complicated about it. It's basically, it's like Bitcoin with all of the features that, you know, Bitcoin proponents want. So it has Lightning Network and private transactions and all of these things. It just has a different algorithm that is more environmentally friendly. And that's it. And so it's kind of like, well, it's so low in market cap, It's worth putting a bunch in there because as they mine it out, it could very easily rise in value. And you know, the scalability issue is still a pretty big problem. I'm not so convinced by proof of stake systems. And you know, there is IOTA, but we've talked about IOTA before, and I haven't seen a significant competitor to IOTA that's become popular yet. So there you go, new low. Yeah, when they took us out at 02 or wherever we were with that huge block sell, that was a pretty good indication that we're probably going to go and make a new low. But it was kind of like, yeah, I got 3, and I don't know. Maybe I should be more stingy because I've been saying this a lot, haven't I? Where it's like, oh, I could have gotten another tick or two more. I could have gotten another tick or two more. And, you know, those add up over time. It's pretty expensive right now. Well, it's like $1, right? Let's see. Where is it at? I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Yeah, it's right at $1 right now. I mean, I guess $1 is expensive, but you're not, you know, if you go and extrapolate it out and you say that it's going to be worth $1,000 someday, you'd still need to buy like $100 worth of coin to ever really make a significant profit on it. But it's the same with garlic coin. If you want to become a millionaire off of garlic coin, I'm pretty sure that you would need at least 10,000 garlic coins. So I'm right now I'm just mining exclusively the garlic coin. We'll see how many I can get before the difficulty really comes out. Okay, I have to step away for a second, so I'm gonna mute the mic here for a bit. Yeah, Dan saying it's worth it to throw $100 at, I guess. Well, yes and no, right? Because I do think it's a pretty good speculative coin, but the question there at that point is, you know, throw $100 at it as opposed to what? You know, you could put that $100 in another coin and that might be a better investment. So, or, you know, might be a better probability. So that's kind of why I personally haven't bought $100 worth of it. I mined like 5 coins, I think, and then I'm just gonna, you know, when I have what I want in the other coins, you know, so I still want to get some KU coin too if it can stay down this low. So, you know, get some KU coin and then maybe I might look at that. So in a couple months, or maybe if we really do get the short covering rally failure to make a new high longer term bear market that we want, then maybe I would start picking up Grow Estel. Okay, well, so we got out at 2 and it went several more ticks than that. So I think that I'm a little too sensitive on the exits. Because we could have made double what I did today. Not that I'm complaining. 6 ticks any other day is good, so.
Alligator said L.69.
Yeah, so just to show you here, and oh well, I can't put it on the. So I do have, like right now, I have Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, and I'm got about 100 in each of those. Although a lot of this came from stuff that I mined. So I got Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, and then I have Groestel and Monero. And the main reason I have Monero is because it's the best thing to mine on my CPU. And then I had Verge, which I got because it was profitable to mine for a while. So I got about 150 Verge. I still have a pretty big position in Sia Coin.
Alligator said EU stocks are dark red.
And then, I've mined Polytimos as another really speculative one that I've been mining. Polytimos and Garlic Coin are the ones that like aren't even on exchanges yet. Yeah, that's interesting that the EU stocks are dark red. I mean, what Draghi was trying to say was really positive, but the market didn't like what he said or the way that he said it. Well, we came back quite a
Alligator said
bit.
F.87. Trade the traders said incredible bund winking face.
I think I want to go short here again. I mean, this was a point earlier, and I think that this is where they're going to have to... Oh, I missed it. Looks like I missed it. That was a little bit too impulsive, so I'm not going to take it now. Treasury and ES. Well, so first of all, hello, Un So Huang. New name, welcome. But Treasury and ES strongly correlated today. So yes and no. Actually, it's kind of been interesting, right? Because here you can see when this started, we had a pretty strong push up in equities, but then we started going down. Okay, so here at this point, so now they've been positively correlated, but it kind of seems to me that the thing
Alligator said LOL, it's a machine. You held your short? Rev long?
Wow, yeah. I wonder did the traders hold that all the way through? Because he was short in the bund like way early on. So it seems to me that some of the Draghi's comments here were initially viewed as positive, but then the market decided that it was bad. Because they're basically saying that they're not going to do as much stimulus because the economy is doing too well. $50 says that tomorrow he comes out and he says, the market misinterpreted my comments. We're really going to do it, guys, I promise. Because that's always what happens when the ECB doesn't get the net effect that it wants. They come out and they clarify. Marius, have a nice day and enjoy the profit. Oh yeah, so if you're heading out, it was nice talking to you. And thank you for watching, and you have a good day too. New home sales crash in December as prices reach record high. Oh. So now, interestingly enough, Bitcoin was making that run towards the VWAP, and somebody stopped it short. And you look in this chart, my 6-hour chart, they got into the cloud and they got stopped. I don't know what that means, but sure seems like you get these big moves going into the cloud on all of these other times. So why didn't this one just go zip? Cloud's too big here? We need to wait and we need to get to that spot where it's easy to get through? I don't know. I don't understand the cloud thing. M. LeBron on Twitter says, if you have not noticed, ZBF 148.16 is fucking streaming stories. So let's look at what John said about targets. Morning notes. If they can start closing bars above 149, they could trade higher. We appear to have demand in the 148.12, 148 16. Oh. Oh, interesting. So we actually did not get that far down. We do have a treasury auction today. Treasury direct. Which one is it though? The 25th. Oh, we get 7 years. Okay. Well, hopefully we get the, the up move like we got yesterday. But I'm not going to stick around today for it. Today is the day that they have lunch at the work building, so I'm going to go in today. So I actually might stop here in 15 minutes so that I have extra time to drive.
Block by.
Okay. Interesting. I'm glad that I didn't take that short. Mempool is almost done. Fees are small. Yeah. The memory pool did finally go down. Now, why doesn't it? Oh yeah, it's really going down now. Show you. So I think that the memory pool thing is interesting because I mean, we're still at an elevated level. I mean, I remember people being concerned when it was here. Up here, of course, is ridiculous. But now that it's coming back down, the question is, if we have another buying spree, are we going to come back up to this? Or maybe even make a new high? That could be something that could cause us problems if we're trying to make a new high. Yeah. How many did he make on it? Oh, have a lot of people on Twitch today too. That's interesting. So for you, those of you on Twitch, how did you find us? Because I know we have like two to four people that watch every day, but we got 6, so that must mean we have some new people, I think. Unless some of us on YouTube have moved over, but YouTube is still about what it usually is. Maybe we're just getting better what is it? Since the stream has been around for so long, perhaps it's putting us higher or something like that. I don't know. I'm like super tempted to take it long now and see if it makes it to the VWAP. I'm also super tempted to short it and see if it goes lower. So I think I better stay out because I just want to have the itch to make a trade, and I don't necessarily have edge here. It's actually a pretty awful place to take a trade because you've got pretty big risk reward. Well, you got pretty big risk on both sides. That was a better bounce though, that last one. There is a possibility that the downtrend is over and that we're going to range around 02. Build a range somewhere in here. Oh, I guess it could be from Steemit too. Yeah, it's probably from Rackley. Thank you for doing that again, by the way. Oprah doesn't want to run for president. Okay. I figured. I am seeing a lot of Democrats dropping the Dreamers' demand for budget talks, which is very curious. But perhaps that's because they truly believe that Republicans want to make a deal outside of budget talks, that they want like a full reform package.
Alligator said F.88.
Okay, so let's see if people have come to their senses on the garlic coin subreddit. Want 500 garlic. Have I will legally change my last name to garlic. What if his last name already is garlic? Because some of the people on my my grandmother on my father's side was a garlic. They're around here in Utah. There's lots of garlics around here. Why is no one hodling? Are you guys new? I think that right now in garlic, if you can get people to buy your garlic, it's a good deal because price is overextended. It should be worth like 50 cents and they're giving it for like $2.50. There are too many coins coming into circulation. The price is going to fall and people are trying to get rid of their coins. Yep. And then maybe I can get 10,000 garlic. That would be so great. That's the goal. But I'm not going to spend a ton of money to do it. Like, I want, like, garlic coins to be worth a cent. And then, you know, buy, like, you know, $100 worth of it or something. I also find it interesting that the point of control in ZB is still all the way up at 23. Isn't that curious? ZB did not move as far because it was a flattening move. ZN obviously moved the most.
Sludge said yeah, for sure.
I was just telling Sledge that I think if it was spam that was causing the congestion in the blockchain network, that if we have another run, it'll come back.
The incentive will drop significantly.
But I also think he's right that in the long term, if Lightning Network it does appear to be seeing some adoption, and it probably will affect the pool and make it drop. Yep, I'm still seeing all of the garlic coins they want to be, they think that it's worth $2 per garlic. I don't think so. I don't think I have $70 worth of garlic from mining 3 days. That's just dumb. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy, but doesn't line up for me. Now, I do not like this sell we're seeing in Bitcoin. It is not normal. They didn't touch the VWAP. It seems like a seller came in prematurely. It may be the case that we have some sellers in the market that don't know what they're doing. Okay, well, things died down pretty considerably here. Point of control moved. I am going into work today and I need to be there by 9:30. So I have a few minutes. I can answer some questions if anybody has any. Kind of looks like you guys all went quiet though. Y'all need to do your chattering when the market's not doing anything, guys. You did it backwards today. All chatty when the market was moving. And then the market goes dead and you're not saying anything. Interesting. So they've made a subreddit on Garlic Coin, verified middlemen, so that, you know, if you send your Bitcoin and the other guy doesn't send his dollars, you just get your Bitcoin back and you don't get scammed. Clever. Christo Katsikas, hey Seth, would you say since the introduction of futures, Bitcoin price is reactionary to them, aka tail wags the dog, or are they two separate entities? So I do not believe that the tail wags the dog at the moment. It seems to me that price movements happen first in the cash markets. So if we just watch it here,
Sludge said yup.
You'll see this tends to move first, and then this moves. Now, every once in a while, you will see where these guys don't seem to buy into what these guys are saying. It's rare though. But like, for instance, this spot right here, they sold it all the way through it. See that? So I don't think it's like tail wagging the dog, but it does seem like the futures traders know something that we don't. Does that make sense? Because they have made some pretty good calls. But it can't be tail wag the dog because the futures trading volume is pathetic. I mean, you keep in mind here, this chart that you're looking at on my screen, what creates a new bar is 10 orders have gone through, right? So there's really not that much trading, it is there. Yeah, the volume is a lot weaker at this moment than I ever thought it would. If we just look at the market liquidity. Now the liquidity has come in, and the spread has come down by quite a lot. You see, there's a bunch of 2s and 3s here just outside of price now. Whereas before they were all over the place. So it is becoming more mature, but right now it is just not anywhere close to where it could be influencing things. So one thing I would suggest that we've been showing Crystal. Let me pull this back over here. So because we're still in a place where everything matters, so if you really want to think like order flow, because that's what I think really matters, is are people going along, where is the market order pressure coming from? You're going to have to look at multiple exchanges, and one of the things that one tool is this data mesh thing. Let's refresh it because it seems like it's not. It should be further along than that. Oh, I guess not. Oh, there we go. Okay, so okay, so you can see here. Let's back it up like that. Okay, so you can see here. Shorts have increased through this time period. So starting at about 4 a.m. So going way back to here. Okay. People went short, and even on this little rise up, it didn't really scare the shorts out.
Sludge said I've got interesting ideas for scaling, pretty much the only coin except BTC that does.
Huh. But how far out are they? Anyways, you can see that there are some shorts on Bitfinex and they haven't been scared out yet. Yeah. So that's kind of something that I would look at instead. Now I think, let's see here. Did they make a new low there? They did. So we'll see if they bounce off of this again. If we start trading above the VWAP and these guys are still short, that could give us a good move up. I would hope, though, for their sakes, that they would get out before that happens. Yeah, so it's datamish.com. I'll link it here in the chat. Mish, M-I-S-H, datamish. So these are margin longs and margin shorts on Bitfinex. And then I'll also show it in other currencies. So let's look at how our Bitcoin Cash is doing. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash still seeing some margin longs. It's good. Now minus 48 hours. It's still looking good in Bitcoin Cash for us. Maybe Ethereum? Yeah. Ethereum looks okay too. Actually, the last 2 days. Good. I still think that we're at some good support zones and that we should eventually move out of this. These shorts just have to give up. Either the shorts are going to give up or some good piece of news is going to come and destroy them. Or we could do this until the 26th. Things might change on the 29th. You know, it's a different week next week. We'll see what happens, I guess. Okay, so if you guys have other questions, I would just put them in the comments of the video. When it gets posted, it takes YouTube like an hour or so to process it, I think. But you'll see it on the coin and you can put the questions in there and I'll come back and answer them. But I am going to have to get going here. Couple new tokens. Yeah, okay, so anyways, yeah, I'm gonna get going here, and I will see you guys tomorrow.